Hi folks, welcome to Carl's Vaping Reviews once again. Welcome to the video. Now, I'm going to review a device for you now that I wasn't going to review in the first place. I've owned two of them though, and I've just recently sold one on. I've still got one here. I probably will get another one in the future because they are that good, and that's why I'm reviewing it. It isn't good because it came out in a controversial circumstances with regards to temperature control. You probably guessed by now what it is, and it's the Smok XPro M80 Plus. Now, I purchased both of my Smok M80 Pluses from Ash at myepack.co.uk. The reason behind me reviewing this device, I'm not going to go down the temperature control route with this device because for me personally, it doesn't have temperature control. I'll touch on it because it's on the menus. I'm not going to do a cotton burn test because it burns cotton, even with the latest firmware. I'll tell you what that is in a second. I've upgraded it since I've had this one as well. This is the latest one, but it still burns cotton. You can't change the characteristics of a chip through an upgrade. Put that right straight away. That's my take anyway. Smok say it's their take on temperature control, but it's not temperature control. So I'm going to leave the temperature control pretty much well alone. There's three main reasons for me reviewing this device and recommending it to vapors, advanced vapors, people wanting to go to a variable wattage device. One is the price. Two, it is the built-in battery, and three, the wattages it goes to. There is another one where the resistance is obviously you can fire. Let me just get that out of the way. The resistance is firing from 0.1 ohm up to 3 ohms. It states 0.2 ohms to 4 ohms on Ash's website on my ePack, but on the instruction manual inside the box it states 0.1 ohms to 3 ohms. So I'm going to go what it states off the manual because this is one of the later batches. So they are the main reasons for me doing the review. Now we'll go down for close-ups and we'll have a look at it close up, and then we'll come back up and have a talk about it and that. But I'm just going to show you now. I've got it on I've got a Magma on here. I haven't used this Magma for ages. I cooled it up yesterday with some Ni200, so it's in temperature mode, temperature limiting mode I'm going to call it for the aid of this review, because the temperature control, although I'm not going to touch on it too much, doesn't work like a DNA40, and it doesn't work like the SX chip, which I have in the SX Mini M class. It uses wattage to keep the temperature down, whatever temperature you've set up. So it sort of works itself out like that. And this device does not cut out when it detects a dry coil, if you know what I mean. So it will always burn cotton because it doesn't cut out and cut and come back in, cut out, come back in like a DNA40 or like the SX Mini M class. So this is at 440 degrees Fahrenheit. It's reading 0.11 ohms and it's at 37 watts. When I press it, it came out with the first batch, it came out with a load of ramp up time, but now that's been taken away, so it is a lot better now. But you know, that's a 0. You see that started off as being, let me just show you, then we'll get down for it. It's 0.19 ohms now. This is a 0.12 ohm coil, and that's what it states on there when it's cool. But when you fire it, because the ohms change a lot on Ni200 wire, it's firing at a different level. Excuse me, every time you fire it up to a point. I think this is going to go up to about 0.2 ohms. So you know, I've got 0.12 to 0.2 that it fires it in, depending on how often I press the fire button to vape it. Because you can't lock the ohms in. Once you've got a resting coil, you can't lock the resistance in. So it's always firing. See, it's like 0.24 it's at now, because I've been firing it. Now I'm firing at 0.16, so it's all over the place. But it does work to a degree. You know, I am vaping with it, and it does taste fine. But you will get dry hits and all that kind of stuff off this, because it's not a temperature control device. It just limits the temperature to a degree. Temperature control out of the way. The main reason for the review, like I've said, the wattages, etc., the price. So what we'll do is we'll go down, we'll have a look at it, and close up what you get in the package, and then we'll come back up and we'll have a talk about it again and rate it and stuff, and then give you my recommendations for the device. So we'll see you down at the table. Alright guys, here we are at the close-ups. This is the packaging it comes in. Pretty typical Smok packaging at present, with the grey and the black finish. As you can see, it's got like a glossy finish to the product on the packaging. XPro M80 Plus. You can pause the video and have a look. This is the grey version. That's what it says, grey there, but it's spelt wrong in our country. They're the parameters at the top if you want to pause the video and have a look, or you want to have a look at what it says on there. And then you've got your authenticity, scratch reveal authentication at the bottom, and your CE markings and where it's assembled, etc. Now what we do is we slide it open, and then we'll discard that, and then in the box, turn it round. It's just a plain Smok box with the usual designed by Smok, assembled in People's Republic of China, smoktech.com. And then we open it up, and then we're greeted with some silica gel, which is in a lot of packaging now to keep the moisture out. Excuse the finger marks on this, I've been using it. And then there's the device, this is the grey colour. I have had the black as well, which is also nice. What we do is we lift this out, and it comes in this little foam padded box. So we'll get rid of that. That's the device. So we'll just stick the device to one side for 1 second. In the box also you get a XPro M80 Plus product manual. It's pretty good, pretty decent. That's the specifications. If you can see it, let me just get there. That's it. That's where it says 0.1 to 3 ohms. On the Ash's website, on myepac.co.uk, it says 0.2 to 4 ohms. And then it's what the material it's made of: aluminium alloy and zinc alloy. Not going to run through it all, but you know, there's pictures, features, and operational guide, etc., etc. Fully charged and powering on and off. That's it. And some attentions on the back. And then also in the box you get a USB cable, which seems quite decent quality one. Just use any USB cable really for charging. And then you get a Ego 510 adapter, which is quite well made actually. It's quite a decent one, with it's got like gold plated contacts on it. Quite a weighty one. Don't know who will use these kind of things now. I don't use them. On the first, what was in here on the first batch that got shipped out was buttons, spare button, like a rubber effect button, which you could change out. But people were changing it out and naffing up the mod. So I believe, as my take, what I've been told, and now they ship them without the buttons to stop people actually opening them up, because there's no reason to open these up. So they don't ship a spare button out now. And that's the box, guys. So I'll put all that to one side, and then we'll bring in, we'll just give it a little bit of a wipe. Right, sorry about that. We'll bring in the device. Now, my lighting, it's great, sort of whitish grey on grey here. So XPro M80 Plus on that side, Smok on that side. So that's the top, chrome finish. You do get the odd tiny little ATI marks now and again on the top, and these are hex screws here. You can open it, but I wouldn't advise it to. There's no reason to open it up. And then you've got a spring-loaded 510 there, which is brass. It does look a bit, it does look like it's got a gold plated to it, but I wouldn't like to say. But it's a really sturdy 510 actually. Let me just get my scissors to show you the spring. It's quite stiff, the spring in this, but it is spring loaded. Now, before I go around the rest of the mod, this 510, I even with it being spring loaded, is quite shallow. Any quite long 510s, what you normally get like on RDAs and stuff like that, RDAs do not sit flush on this, even with it being spring loaded. So a feature for them to improve next time would be to make this spring loaded center pin and keep the spring loaded center pin, but make this deeper, because it is quite shallow for a 510 with a spring loaded connector. And moving around the device a bit more, we'll show you that last. Got like a heatsink type fan ridged effect here, which aids in holding it. On the bottom you have a USB, which you can fast charge. It's 1 amp to 2 amp, and then you've got your battery venting. That's what these holes are here. That's for your battery venting. Micro USB, micro USB that is. Obviously got these hex screws in again, which you don't want to be unscrewing. And then you got the front, but just the finish on this grey one. The black one was the same. I don't know about the other two colours, gold and silver, but it's smooth, but it has got a slight texture to it. But it's a really nice feel in the hand. Really nice rounded edges. There's no sharp bits on it really. No sharp bits on it. Even the edges here is quite rounded, but it's quite nice feel in the hand. Very nice feel in the hand, in fact. So what we've got is we've got a fire button, a screen, and then we've got plus, reset button, and a minus button. Now it's 5 click on, 5 click off. So it's 5 click on, 5 click off. It's 5 click to lock it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's click locked. What happens when you lock it, when you try and fire it now, is it comes up with the date and time. So as you can see at the moment, I'm doing this video quite late. You can set that from the menu settings. I'll show you in a second. Now 5 clicks to turn it back into fire mode again. It says check atomizer. And then you've got your plus and minus, at which you can use to up the wattage. It goes up to 80 watts quite quickly. And then use your minus to go all the way down to 6 watts. And then you've got a reset button here that you can reset with a pin or something small enough to go in that hole. There's a little button inside that you can reset the device. Let me just show you that now, because let me just get my, because this shows you what version of firmware is on the device. So if I press reset, just press it, like you'll hear the click, and then you turn it on. 1 2 3 4 5 version 0006-1. Just quickly, I'll show you that again. 1 2 3 4 5 006-1. Now when this got shipped to me, it was shipped with version 0006, and I've upgraded it to 006-1. Apparently the change of the updated firmware was to just change it when it shorts out. It says shorted atomizer now instead of check atomizer, so it tells you when it's a short or when it's just not connecting properly. So sorry if I'm moving around a lot. So we've got on the screen your wattage. The top figure there is your ohms. Obviously it's zeros at the moment because there's nothing attached. And then here is your Fahrenheit, or when you're in wattage mode, when you're in normal mode, in wattage mode, it'll state your volts down there, and then your battery level meter, which is here. Obviously it's quite full at the moment. So let's just go into the menu. It's 3 clicks to get into the menu. So it's 1 2 3, and I have to go through this quite quickly for you because it does go off. Number 1 is where you can change the mode. So you have to press it 3 times and then hold and then press. So let me just go through that again. So it's 3 clicks, 1 2 3. Wait, and then you can change it by pressing. So it's temp, mech, and wattage mode. So let's put it into wattage mode. Temperature mode is obviously the temp mode that is controversial. Mech mode is, I'm just scrolling through them, save it going off. We'll choose wattage mode. Mech mode is where it mimics a mechanical device, so it just uses the power directly from the batteries that are in here. It gives you the voltage for it that way, or it sort of works it out. Now, as you can see on the display, it's now changed to volts down here, where it used to say Fahrenheit, because I'm now in wattage mode. So it'll be firing at 36 watts if I had an atomizer on here. And let's go back into the menu again. So that was menu 1. Press again, and it's puff counter. But because I've reset it, it's saying zeros on there. That will always reset as well when you plug your device in for charging. So it's just something I never use anyway. So 3 clicks to get into the menu. 1 2 3, and then click again. Click again. This is your where you can change your date and time. And 2 3 1 2 3. Number 4 is the temperature, which you can set. And the temperature goes from 200 up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. So, but obviously that only comes into play when you are in temperature mode. And then 1 2 3 again. The last one is to wait and then power off, and the device will say goodbye and power off. And obviously to power it back on again, it's 5 clicks of the fire button. 1 2 3 4 5. Welcome, and then it comes on. It's pretty quick how it comes on and turns off. And there's no lag on the fire once you're firing it. I can't feel any delay in firing, even from standby. It fires very quickly, virtually straight away, in fact. So if I just go through just how you get to the menu again, because it is quite I mean, you'll get used to it in the end anyway. So it's 3 clicks to get into the menu, 1 2 3, and then you can choose by clicking it, get further through the 5 sub menus, once you want say you wanted menu 4 to change your temperature, you leave it, and then you could go to the plus or minus, but you have to do it quickly because it only gives you a couple of seconds before it comes out of that menu again. But you'll get used to it in the end. It is quite easy to use, the menu system. So that's about it, really. That's all I can show you. And let me just stick my. I've got a Smok I've just reviewed, so I can just show you it. See, now there's an atomizer on there now, but it's not showing zeros still. Well, it won't show anything until I fire it, and then it's showing now 0.63, and then it's as you can see, it's showing 4.76 volts, 35 watts. But this is a 0.6 ohm coil in here, so it's not that far off with regards to reading coils. Very little in it, to be honest. I'm getting 0.55 off the 0.5 ohm Kanga sub-tank heads, if anybody, so it's not that far out with how it reads the ohms. And obviously, like you say, like I've said, the selling point is the wattage as well as the battery life in here. So, that's why it lights up like that when you're firing it. And then, obviously, if you wanted to put it in your pocket, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if your date and time comes up when you try and fire it, you're in locked mode. So you need to press it 5 times to come out of that. And that's about it. Can't really show you much more on that, to be honest. But it is, up close, it is a really nice quality device for the money. Because it's all about how much this device costs at the end of the day as well, for most people. So we'll go back up to the top. If there's anything I've missed on the close-ups now, I'll mention it when we go back up to the top. Okay, so thank you guys. Hi guys, welcome back up. These devices, they're not very reviewer friendly when you're trying to show them up close and the screen's going off all the time, and etc. etc. They don't make the screens stay on a bit longer for us reviewers. Anyway, I'm having a drink first and then we'll have a vape on it. I've got today John Smith's Smooth. I thought I'd have a beer while I was doing the reviews. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely. What I've done, I've just stuck my Sub-Tank Plus, the big one, the big revised one, on it. And I've got it at 24 watts, which is like what I run the Sub-Tank normal 0.5 ohm heads on. Because that's what they like running at, me personally, at 24 watts. I've got some 70/30 strawberry cream in, strawberry rhubarb cream from Big Cloudy Liquid. And I've got it, like I say, 24 watts. One thing I didn't show you on the close-ups on the 510, just to zoom in a little second, which I forgot to mention, is it does have, see, these don't, see, even with the sub-tanks, they don't sit very flush. That's as far down as I can screw that really without it, because it is getting rather tight there now. But you have got a airflow. If you've got any atomizers that need airflow, there is airflow that you can get to the 510 on it. So there is an airflow channel on the 510. It's one big single one that goes to the front of the device, like I was showing you. So Sub-Tank Plus, 24 watts, 0.55 on the readings. 24 watts is pulling out 3.68 volts on this chip, on this coil. I do love my Sub-Tanks, and this new Sub-Tank Plus as well. Although it's 25mm, with this setup now, I could take that out. That lasts me most of the day. Even though it's a 0.5 ohm coil, it's just 70/30 VGPs. It lasts me most of the day. Top it up probably top that up once because it's obviously 7mm anyway. Well, at 24 watts, you don't have to run these that as high as most sub-ohm tanks. Beautiful flavour off these. I'm a big fan of the sub-tank coils as well, because you don't have to be run as high as the some of the other sub-tanks I've got here. Some of the other sub-tanks I've got here. One I can't review yet. That runs at about, it's got to run at about 50 to 60 watts. When you're pumping 50, 60 watts through all the time, when you're vaping, even with the 4,400 more battery, it doesn't last very long. But yeah, drink time. Like I said, guys, I can highly recommend this as a device, because even though the temperature control, which I didn't touch on in the close-ups, and I said I wouldn't, because it doesn't really have temperature control, it's more temperature display and limiting really, and it uses wattage to get the right temperature, well, to get the temperature that you've set, supposedly set at from the device. But from a wattage point of view, it works flawlessly. Obviously, like I said, between 6 and 80 watts, and then that twin 18650 built-in battery in here, which is effectively what it is, at 4,400 more. It's, it's brilliant. The only negative for me is that 510 is still shallow. It needs lengthening a bit really for everything to sit flush, even though it's got a spring-loaded centre pin. The actual 510 hollow itself, the screw threaded bit, it's too shallow to the pin. But great device, a great device. I'll show you what it's like with that's with the big sub tank on it. I'll show you what I mean with regards to RDAs. I've got a little boy here. Now, when I'm screwing that on, that's making contact already, and I've got that gap. So I have got a bit of play in the spring-loaded connector, but that is as far as it's going to go. And most of my RDAs, let me just zoom in a little bit, take the focus off. Most of my RDAs sit, this one sits not bad actually, but it has got still quite a bit of a gap there. The Magma, that's just as bad. I've got a Mutation X, which is higher than that, sits higher than that. So it's not very RDA friendly, the 510 isn't, even though it's spring loaded, like I've said. This is the Sub-Tank Nano. Oops, nearly dropped it. Nearly broke it. Already broke the glass on this one. I've only got one glass left. Idiot call. But like you see, even with the sub-tank on, still got, I can get it in shot. Right. Still got a tiny bit of a gap. That's as far down. I mean, I can screw it a bit more, but I'll start screwing it in. I can feel the pressure now on the pin quite badly, but that's how it looks with the Sub-Tank Nano, and it's quite a nice device with the Sub-Tank Nano on it. 24 watts again. I haven't used this for a bit. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. What else could I stick on it? Like I say, the 22mm Smok that I just reviewed, match made in heaven really. That sits flush because obviously they're making their 510s. No, there's no gap on that at all. 510s obviously to match it. So, and that's how that looks with the new Smok on. This VCT Pro, this is, which I've just reviewed. So let's just stick my sub tank back on it. I've got other devices, but they're all sitting around about the same, apart from the RDAs. The RDA, a little bit of gappage, as Paulie Meatballs would say. Not say, but as he would quote on his videos. Even with the sub tanks on, there's a little bit of gappage, but you know, I'm not too fussed about that, to be honest. Great device. I love it in the hand. It's really nice. A little bit wider than most that are on the market, but you know, it's a 2018 650 batteries in here, so plus the PCB, the chip. So, and it stands up. All the logos stand up pretty well. Nothing rubbing off on it. Even the chrome bottom. As you can see, I've had this a couple of weeks now, and I stand it up regular on my desk, taking it to work a few times as well. And there's no scratches on it hardly. Well, there's hardly any scratches on it to be. In fact, just go close up. Shines off my camera, look. Just dirty on the bottom, but there's hardly any scratches on the bottom, so it's the chrome's standing up quite well. Overall, guys, it's a recommendation for me. I'm not going to touch on the temperature control. It's a recommendation for them 3 or 4 main factors. Variable wattage 6 to 80 watts. Resistance from 0.1 to 3 ohms. The 4400 mAh built-in battery. And the build quality. Build quality is great. Great. Absolutely love it. I actually love these. They are very, very good. I mean, I know people buying the iStick 50s and stuff like that at the moment with a similar battery power level as this. I believe there's some problems with that at the moment as well, with some of the batteries on the iStick 50s. Similar to what, you know, this has not been problem free for Smok either. And people aren't buying it now because it's not got temperature control. I wouldn't make that put you off, because it's 45 quid at myepack.co.uk, and I've had to review it because it is such a good device for how much it costs. You know, 80 watt device for 45 quid with a 4400 mAh battery built in. Can't ask for any better than that, in my opinion. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching the video and my ramblings, etc. If you want to contact me, you can do on the forum, which is AEC forum. Richo71 is the avatar, as you know by now. Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. You can contact me. All the links are on the YouTube video, on my YouTube channel. Any comments, anything I've missed, anything you want to put me right on, just comment underneath. Any spam will get removed, as always. And have a good few days, and I'll see you on the next review. Thanks, guys.